Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Bukola. Thank you so much for clicking to watch today's video. So in this video I'll be talking about who is exempted from the A2 Italian language test. So what is A2 Italian language test? The A2 Italian language test is requested by the Ministero dell'Interno for anyone who is requesting for the long-term Italian residence permit, known as il permesso di soggiorno a lungo termine, which was previously known as Carta di soggiorno. Theoretically, it's no longer called Carta di soggiorno, but permesso di soggiorno a lungo termine, and it's no longer called illimitato because it's no longer illimitato. Okay, but I will tell you all this in the video, so just sit back and enjoy this video. So in Italy, there are different types of residence permits. Okay, so we have the resident permits for study and training purposes. We have resident permits for work purposes, for social protection, for minor, for adoption, foster care. We have resident permits for family reasons, research, voluntary work, the EU blue card, the EU long-term permits, the pending employment permits. There's also the self-employment resident permits. Okay, so guys, today I will be focusing on the long-term resident permits. Okay, that's the permesso di soggiorno a lungo termine. Please pardon the background noises, my children are here. I'm a mom of 3 children, so pardon the noises. So the permesso di soggiorno per soggiornanti di lungo periodo, which is formerly known as the Carta di soggiorno, can be requested after 5 years of continuous residence in Italy, and if you are in possession of a valid resident permit. So before having the long-term resident permit, you're gonna have the, well, I call it the temporary resident permit, which is maybe you might have the permesso di soggiorno, that the one of 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Okay, so you should have a valid permit of stay, a valid resident permit before you can have the long-term resident permits, except for some cases like those who have the resident permits for study purposes, or the ones that have the humanitarian asylum permit. You know, there are some exceptions for them. Okay, there are some exceptions. The long-term resident permits allows you to move and work in every member state of the European Union. Okay, but each country has their own kind of law. So like, for example, maybe if you go to Germany and you have the permesso di soggiorno a lungo termine, they might tell you, okay, you need so and so things, you need a kind of document to be able to work here. Okay, so each country has their own rules, each country has their own regulations that you have to follow. So as I said earlier, the long-term resident permits can be requested by a foreign citizen who has a valid resident permit, and the person has to demonstrate a minimum income of 5,983 euros 64 cents per year. Okay, but before you apply, make sure you read the current requirements needed to be able to apply, because sometimes this money, this minimum income vary, so you need to thoroughly check the current one. Okay, and if you have a family member, it increases. Maybe you are you have a wife and you also want to request it for your wife. You have to have a minimum income, which you have to check online as well. It increases. So if you are 3 in the family, you are 4, you're 5, the minimum income increases. Okay, so you can request for the long-term resident permits for your wife, yeah, for your spouse, for your children, your minor children. Okay, your minor children, and you can also request the long-term resident permits for your adult children, that's from those that have already completed 18 years. For only if they are not financially independent, maybe for health reasons, maybe because of maybe they have a type of disability, or for health reasons they cannot work, they cannot be financially stable or independent, then that means you can request the Carta, you can request the long-term residence permit for them. Okay, you can also request for the resident permits for your dependent parents. So if you have parents and they are dependent on you, you can also request the long-term resident permit for them. Okay, it's just that you have to have the required minimum income. You also need to have a suitable accommodation, which is known as the alloggio idoneità, which is very important. The alloggio idoneità, they have to see that you have the correct meter square for your family. So I think there are different type of there are different meter square per applicant. Like maybe if you are two, you are 3, there is a designated meter square requested. Okay, so you need to check that in your provincia, in your province, because I think the province, each province has their own request. You also need your CUD. Yeah, the CUD is very important. You will need your buste paga, which are your pay slips. You will need stato di famiglia e certificato di residenza. So you have to certify, and these ones you can take them, you can collect them in your comune, or you can also request for it online, because now you can request for those things online. The stato di famiglia, the certificato di residenza, you can actually request for them online. I think I've not made a video. Now you can do that online. One of these days I'm going to try to make a video on how you can request for your stato di famiglia or certificato di residenza online. So you need your family status you need a valid international passport. You need a valid one, so you cannot request for any soggiorno, even if it's for any type of soggiorno with an expired passport. You will also need the criminal record certificate and certificate of criminal proceedings, and these ones you can request for this document online as well. You can request for it, you know, this document, you have to request for this document in court, okay, in tribunale, but you can also do this online. Everything is online now. I think I'm going to do a tutorial video on how you can request for that online. Yeah, because the certificate certifies that you have no criminal record. Okay, you also need a payment slip of almost 30 euros, if I'm not mistaken. I think I don't know if the amount has changed. Okay, I don't know if the amount has changed, but if you take your documents to CAF, to Patronato, they are going to give you everything you're going to need. Okay, so you have to also, there's a kit that you have to take to the post office, the Italian poste italiane. Okay, this kit is 30 euros. You also need a revenue stamp, which is marca da pollo, that you of 16 euros, that you have to get in the tabaccheria. And one of the important things, and one of the reasons I created this video, is that you will need to pass the Italian, the A2 Italian test, the Italian language test, because they have to see that you have a knowledge of the Italian language. So who is exempted from taking this test? Number 1, any minor child under 14 years. Okay, so if your child is below 14 years, he or she doesn't have to take the A2 Italian language test. Okay, number 2, people with severe language learning deficits certified by a public facility, maybe certified by HASLE. Okay, so you have to certify, you need a certificate to prove that you have a learning deficit, learning language deficit, or if you have a type of disability. Okay, so another one is foreigners who studied in Italy. So if you studied in Italy, if you have the first grade and second grade secondary certificate, you are exempted from the language test. If you have a diploma, if you have a degree, the Italian diploma or the Italian degree, you are exempted from the test. Okay, and another one is if you attended a language school Okay, if you attended an Italian language school, you are exempted. That's if you have a certificate that can prove that you are exempted from taking the test. The last but not the least, highly qualified workers like interpreters, translators, professors, journalists, managers, and also holders of international protection permits are also exempted, not their family members. So if their family members don't have the permits, that type of permits, they will have to take the test. Okay, so hope this video was helpful. If you have any question, you can leave it in the comment section, or you can always send me an email and I'll be so glad to reply you. Like this video and subscribe to this channel for more videos. I do a lot on this channel. I do tutorial videos and I share my life here in Italy. I share vlogs, I share motherhood videos as a mom living in Italy as well. Okay, so thank you so much for watching and I will see you in my next video. Grazie, ciao ciao.